People who oppose tithing often make the claim that tithing was only for farmers or people who raised animals, that tithe was only crops of the land and never ever money, that people with occupations other than agricultural did not return tithe. But this, however, creates a big problem. In Deuteronomy chapter 14, it says, "You shall truly tithe all the increase of your grain that the field produces year by year, and you shall eat before the Lord your God the tithe of your grain and your new wine and your oil, of the firstborn of your herds and your flocks, that you may" what? "That you may learn to fear the Lord your God always." The problem is that the Bible says tithe was necessary so that, quote, "you may learn to fear the Lord your God always." This, of course, begs a very important question. If tithing was only for farmers and no other occupations, then why is it that only farmers needed to learn to fear the Lord? Carpenters and tent makers, they didn't need to learn to fear the Lord. Learning to fear the Lord is something necessary only for farmers. Why is that? Why is fearing the Lord something important for only certain occupations? And then we have another problem, because what happens if a farmer switches occupations and becomes a carpenter? He doesn't need to learn to fear the Lord anymore. In this same book of Deuteronomy, Moses says all Israel is to come to appear before God. It doesn't say certain occupations. No, it says all Israel, and specifically says, "Gather men and women and little ones, and the stranger who is within your gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn to fear the Lord your God." Well, this is a big problem, because the necessity to learn to fear the Lord is obviously for everyone. It's not exclusive to certain occupations. And here it gets worse. Not just Israel, but all the peoples of the earth may know the hand of the Lord, that you may fear the Lord your God. And here explicitly says, let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. So, not just Israel and not just farmers, but every person in the whole world is supposed to learn to fear the Lord. Whenever you hear someone make the claim that only farmers paid tithe, ask them the question, why only farmers need to learn to fear the Lord? If your experience has been anything like mine, they are not going to answer you. They're not going to give you an answer. They will just ignore it or call you names and insult you. They will not answer because the assertion that only certain occupations need to learn to fear the Lord is absurd. And an important note about this chapter, there were several different tithes. There was the tithe to the Levites, and then here is the 10% tithe for festivals, often called the second tithe. And then at the end of the chapter, you can see right here, is an additional tithe every third year for the stranger and the fatherless and the widow and the Levite who are within your gates. Some people also call this the second tithe, while some will say that this is a third tithe, but it makes no difference to the problem before us, and in fact only makes it worse, because here also it says that after tithing, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hand which you do. Again, the Lord's blessing is only on the work of farmers. The blessings of God are limited to certain occupations. Carpenters, they don't have to help the orphans. Only the farmers. The tent makers, they don't need to help widows, only the farmers do. Only farmers have all these burdens and obligations to help other people, no other occupations. This is ridiculous. This is completely absurd. The scriptures teach that returning tithe was necessary to learn to fear the Lord your God always. And nowhere does it teach that only certain occupations needed to fear the Lord. Furthermore, even the Levites themselves, who received the tithe for their work in the sanctuary, they also had to return tithe from what they received. See my video on Numbers chapter 18, verses 25 to 28. Anyways, that's it for today. To learn more, see my other videos, especially the recent interview with Dr. Russell Kelly, the most famous and most often cited supposed expert on tithing is Dr. Russell Kelly. I recently sat down with him for an interview where he openly admitted that his claims are false. This is a huge blow to the anti-tithing community. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.